Hello and welcome everyone to CDI's latest webinar. Today, our subject is Dare to Share with Laserfiche's DirectShare. We'll get started in just a moment. Just want to make sure that all attendees have had a chance to sign in, so we'll give them just another minute. We'll take a look in just a moment at Laserfiche DirectShare. All right, we'll start now and get this presentation started. Welcome everyone to CDI's latest webinar titled Dare to Share with Laserfiche's DirectShare. My name is Kyle Niebel, technical trainer here, and we're going to take a look at the product that is part of Laserfiche's cloud environment, and we'll talk about some of the other features that this product enables us to do. DirectShare is a way to securely share documents from a repository, typically in Laserfiche Cloud, but we also have another method if you have an on-premise system. DirectShare also has now enabled two-factor authentication, and there is also, as I mentioned, a capability to do the same DirectShare, but with on-premise systems and a web client, which is referred to as hybrid DirectShare. So today we're going to demonstrate the use of this system. We'll talk about some configuration settings, limits, and reporting on how to take a look at what's going on there. All right, a little housekeeping here before we get started. On your GoToTraining or webinar panel there, the question box or chat windows are available, and feel free to ask questions as we go along. I have them open on my other screen, and I'll take a look at that. You'll all be muted here, so just post your questions in the chat or question box as they come up. These slides and screenshots on this webinar we'll be able to provide to you if you want them. Not that there are any great, super fantastic stuff, but if you want to get that, feel free to reach out to me and I'll get that provided to you after the session. And this webinar is being recorded. This portion will be removed, but that will show up on our YouTube channel in just a day or two. So look for that if you wanted to share that with anybody else that you think might learn or have fun learning about that. All right, who is this target audience for? Who is this webinar for? Well, Laserfiche admins, Laserfiche cloud users, and Laserfiche subject matter experts. Anybody who's using Laserfiche and would find the ability to share securely documents as opposed to emailing documents, right? So our topics today is basically how and why is DirectShare in existence? How does it work? What is hybrid DirectShare? Talk about some of those features. How does two-factor authentication work? We'll demonstrate that. We'll talk a little bit briefly about licensing options and limits that it has built in. We'll talk about that. It'll be fairly obvious. We can be apprised of any current status and activity going on. And then are there any future features that might be coming along? We'll discuss that here as we go along in our demonstration. So why does DirectShare exist? Laserfiche found that in their cloud environment, it was fairly easy to implement a way to share files securely in an audited and tracked manner, which they call DirectShare. So how you do this in a moment, but sometimes there's security or compliance requirements that we want to share something but not actually send the document through an email, which could be fairly insecure at some points. So there's another method here that they called DirectShare. What are the use cases where you might want to securely send documents? Many times we have contracts that are very proprietary. Any loan applications, obviously with important social security numbers and things like that. public records requests, sometimes those are not quite so public. If you're doing client account opening, those documents may have personal information, and certainly student records requests many times have private student information in there as well. And when that is implemented, when do we use it? Well, in the web client in the Laserfiche cloud, when you're in a repository and you have a document or documents selected, you can share them. And typically you could choose by email. However, there is the option that we see here called DirectShare. And then as you see in the bottom, I tried to show the issue here. You have a expiration date between 1 and 7 days built in. You can also enable a passcode. That's the two-factor authentication I mentioned earlier. Or you can even set a password on the file as well so that you can get to that info. What the recipient gets in an email and a link to get your files. Clicking on that box pops up. If you have a passcode, it asks for your passcode in order to open the file. If there's a password, you'll have to open the file with a password. And the neat thing about the two-factor authentication is that it will automatically send that passcode to the recipient as well. You don't have to think one up, it just does it. So that's kind of the basics there as far as DirectShare. We'll go through this step by step in just a moment. However, there is also hybrid DirectShare. For those who have Laserfiche in an on-premise environment and are using the web client, you might want to implement this same feature. In fact, it is kind of a seamless experience for the users that, like we'll see here today. However, it does require some special licensing for that to happen. And this is only available for subscription and Laserfiche Rio customers only. If you have Laserfiche Avante or anything earlier, it just wouldn't work anyway. So there is a licensing requirement there. And we'll show you how to set up hybrid DirectShare if you do have that and you are licensed for it. Brief demonstration on how this works. But basically, in the new special cloud environment that you've been provided, you'll go to that system and you'll register what they call a API key. You can see that image down there in the bottom left. You'll choose the scope as DirectShare, click Generate Key. You'll want to make a copy of that key. It's a text file, and you can just save that, whatever that key number is, it's randomly generated. And then you'll come into your on-premise system and go to your web configuration and add that DirectShare API key there as well. So I've got 2 screenshots here that show you that step. We'll go through that here live as well. Two-factor authentication, just enable that one-time passcode as you're doing a DirectShare, and that will then tell the cloud system to generate a passkey and email it to the same recipient that you shared this file to. The recipient will get a passcode. It expires after an hour, but if the user uses the same link later on that they've received to the files and it's been past that hour, a new code will be generated for them and they don't have to think about it. There is a button where they could say, hey, do that. As they're trying to open the document or documents, they get the view files, enter your passcode dialog box you can see there. And if it's something that they need, they can even hit the resend passcode button to get another code. So pretty straightforward, easy to use for everybody, as we will see. For licensing, again, subscription or Rio customers only. And you could be on premise with subscription or Rio, and you can do this. If you have just a cloud account, this is all built in, and you don't have to worry about that. Now, default, out of the box, you could send in a single share up to 200 megabytes of a single or multiple files. You can purchase an additional tier for 1 GB for a single share if you really need that. Our sales department can provide all the licensing costs and options for that. So as mentioned, there are certain limits. You've seen that already. Out of the box, a single file would, or a single share, could be multiple files, but in total should not normally exceed 200 megabytes, and that's the default functionality in Laserfiche's cloud environment. If you find that that is not enough, there is an option for 1 GB. As we saw also, any link is only allowed to be active for up to 7 days, no more. And you can resend it if you want. Okay. What's really neat is once you've sent that link, we can see that it's listed in the cloud environment as a shared item. So you can kind of see that live in there. And in fact, you can even, if it warrants it, you can disable that link manually if you need to. All right. And you'll get this little pop-up when you do that. It says, do you want to disable the link for so-and-so? And you click OK. So that being said, let's take a look at some of this information that we've just described and do this in a live demo. So we're going to take that away. And as we can see here, we've got a Laserfiche Cloud repository. I've already logged in, and I'm in a folder where there's some documents. And you could select one or more documents. And then what we typically do to share this, the share button up in the top right corner on the toolbar, that action button, we'll click share. At this point, you can select or deselect whatever you want. If you have scanned images and you want to send just one page out of several, you can change the page range option there at the top, as you can see, if you need to do that. Then what we do down in the share via option is switch it to DirectShare. It will then allow us to send from our own email address, because that's what we use to log into Laserfiche Cloud. And then you can address the share to whoever. You could change the subject line as well, add any message text that you want in there over and above what the default info will be. Below the message text is the expiration date in days, and go ahead and choose anything between 1 and 7. If I try and do 8 days, as you can see, it kind of complains there and says, well, no, only 1 through 7. All right, so we'll fix that. The one-time passcode, this is the two-factor authentication. Not only do you get a secure link to the document, it also requires that you have a passcode. Now, when you check that box for one-time passcode, you will get a separate email with that passcode. And this is done automatically. The system sends it to the recipient that you've entered in the to box up above. If you want to set a password on the attached files, go ahead and enter that password here. You will then have to somehow communicate that password to the recipient, preferably in a separate email if you're going to use email, or even better, a phone call, but your choice on the method. But do not put the password in the text of this message here. That would be bad security process, so I don't recommend doing that on secure documents. But DirectShare, when you do this, will then send a URL link to the document. So if you hit send, off it goes. Now I haven't put anything in here, but if you have sent some, which I have, you'll be able to see its status in there. So I'm going to close this out, and let's take a look at some items that have been shared already. So up in the top left corner of your folder pane panel there, click on shared, and that will show you anything that currently is shared or had been shared in the last few days. I believe it's up to 30 days it will remain here, but that depends on the way the system works. And as we can see, I've shared out a document to myself, as well as I have disabled a previously sent document as well. What's really neat is some of the status columns, date shared, its current expiration, the document or documents names are listed, and have any files been downloaded is all reportable right here. Pretty cool stuff there. So that's the activity that we can view as far as shared items go. Okay. In order to open the document that was sent, you'll have an email that you've probably received, and the link, when you click on it, will open up and give you a link like we see here. And then you can then choose to download the image, which in this case I've already done because now we can still see it there under our shared list. And you can see that the file downloaded for that sample1.pdf is listed as all, and there you can see that link. Again, if you try and download it and you had a passcode, it will ask for the passcode before you're able to get to this box. All right, so it's pretty easy in manual mode to do this. Now, I mentioned future features. I believe, and as of this time, theoretically, in the later half of this year or early part of next year, Laserfiche will have a workflow activity that will allow us to actually do a direct share via a workflow activity. Currently, it's not in place as of this webinar, which is in January of 2026. Hopefully, sometime by the end of this year of 2026, they should have that in place. So keep your eye out for that as far as that future feature goes. I can't demonstrate anything because, well, they don't have it built yet. But we're crossing our fingers that that does come through. All right, so having sent our files, we then have that, we've got it emailed, and then the recipient can open the files, download them, and then that expiration date just will kick off and the link will die in that amount of time, or you can manually disable that. So that'll be pretty fantastic if we can even automate that process as well. This will be great for those public record requests or student records requests and any other processes where you might feel that you need to share content. Great stuff. All right, now, if you've got an on-premise system and you want to set it up so this works, you'll see the same feature as we saw previously. So if you highlight a document and want to get direct share, it will be enabled in the web client for your on-premise systems as well, but you need to do configuration in there in order to see that. All right, so let's take a look. And we have some questions that were popping up here. Question is, does recipients need a license to view the documents? No, this is perfect for anybody outside your organization who needs the documents but does not use Laserfiche. So this would be easily shared to non-licensed users of your Laserfiche system. So it's a really great feature. Now, when I say on-premise, this means somebody who's not using just Laserfiche Cloud. They've got Laserfiche installed in servers in their environment, and you're using the Laserfiche Windows client or the web client that's hitting a Laserfiche repository that's actively managed by your local IT staff on your premises. There you go. All right. And the link that the document was shared to is there in the shared options. So hopefully that came about and made sense to you. And then, is there a way for someone to share documents with us using DirectShare? I'm not sure if that means in the current demo, but if you have that system in place in your own Laserfiche Cloud, which is by default available, so there's no need to license it for those who are using Laserfiche Cloud. It's built in. The functionality for DirectShare for those who have Laserfiche systems in their own environment where they have servers and all that. This can be added to those systems. All right. So at the moment, I don't think I can share anything to anybody attending. That would probably be a bit weird. So thank you for those questions. Hopefully I answered those. And we'll continue on. All right, so back to the topic, which was how do we get it implemented for somebody who has a system where they need to add the hybrid DirectShare setup so that their unique cloud environment can talk between those two systems. It's very easy. One simply goes to your application picker and goes to your account area, and then goes to the account administration plan settings to change that. And having clicked on that, that will show up right here, as we can see in this tab. Ignore all the other information in there. But one would then go to the Integration Configuration tab and register that new API key. Okay, and having done that, you'll grab the key. As we see here, you can copy it, save it as a item as well. All right. And then what we'll do is we'll add the configuration into the local systems services setup in that environment. So an IT member or Laserfiche administrator who has access to the Laserfiche configuration utility on that Laserfiche server will have to go to this services area, and down on the DirectShare toggle, as we see here, they'll toggle it on and then paste that API key value in here, making sure to choose the correct region where your Laserfiche cloud system sits. If you're in the United States, you'll use laserfiche.com. If you're in Canada, laserfiche.ca, and in Europe, the EU.laserfiche.com region. Verify it, should be good as long as that's been properly configured. Hit save, and now your local Laserfiche web clients will be able to do that same direct share. All right, and that is how we set up our items. Getting some more questions, which is great. Got some engagement here, which I love to see. Just to follow up though, we'll talk about any of our reporting. We've got that. So that is it. And then the last question we just got was, could a third party share a document with us using DirectShare in order to put one in to then be able to share the link? No, it's a one-way share from outbound from the repository, and therefore no way for a third party to send something back. This is not a share file type scenario. There are different, like, Dropbox and share file. Theoretically, you could request somebody send you information, but that functionality is not built into this direct share option. So it's one way only out, not any inbound document storage. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question, and that's it. So great questions so far. And that really concludes our demonstration on the Laserfiche DirectShare and hybrid DirectShare features. All right, so thanks so much. Oh, more questions. Do we know if the customer downloads a file? As shown on that repository in the shared view, you can see that there's some columns, and we can see that it's who's it been shared with, when it expires, what the documents are, and have those files been downloaded. Okay. Do we know when they were downloaded? No, we just know that they were downloaded. All right. And then is the question about the API key. It doesn't expire. It's always built into the Laserfiche cloud environment. And once you configure it in the local system, they're connected. There's no expiration. Unless your maintenance expires on your cloud system, it should be there in perpetuity. All right. Another question. I think any reporting pulled after they disappear from the shared screen. I would venture to guess that there is some audit trail options. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked that up, but Carrie, I will follow up with you on that one offline, if you don't mind. All right, good questions. Multiple files would show up in a link, pretty straightforward. They would all be listed in one line item, but several documents would be listed in that one line item. Pretty straightforward. All right, good questions. Anything else? Yeah, the question is for any files downloaded. It will list individuals or all, depending on what's been downloaded. So, yeah. Great question. All right. Sounds like we've got our final questions there. Any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. For other resources, to learn more about Laserfiche in general, or about what we do here, and for this video, go ahead and visit our YouTube channel. On YouTube, just look up for CDI_official, or just use the link that we see here. We do have our main website, which is at cdi.support or www.cdi.support. Any future webinars will be listed here, and you can sign up for those. We also have quite a bit of content, not only videos and links on here, but also our blog posts. You might have read those already. I do write them most of the time. For Laserfiche resources, if you want to learn more, get educated on any of the Laserfiche products, go ahead and feel free to peruse all the content found on Laserfiche's website. Go to laserfiche.com. Solution Exchange is really interesting. That's where they talk about certain solutions that have been built using various Laserfiche products to make a holistic solution to solve a particular scenario, like new student onboarding or new client onboarding or public records requests, you name it. And that article might have been written by an actual Laserfiche user in a real world scenario. So really fun stuff there. If you want to get certified or just take the classes that would be used in order to get certified, you can do that. In fact, the classes are free. The certification is a paid option. So feel free to look into that. There are lots of getting started guides, which are a lot like those Solution Exchange articles, and therefore you can learn a bit about how to solve a particular solution problem in document sharing and things like that. The solution marketplace includes Laserfiche business processes, otherwise known as forms, solutions that are prepackaged with not only the forms processes and e-forms built in, but sometimes even templates and even workflows and directions if it's a complex solution. If you have questions that go beyond what you might find in Laserfiche's documentation, the Laserfiche Answers Forum is a fantastic resource. Feel free to take a look at that. This is where you can actually post questions if you haven't found an answer no pun intended, in the answers forum itself on your particular topic. Although I tend to get in there and find that there's always been at least one, if not 2 or 3 or 4 different posts relating to what I'm trying to solve. So it's a great resource, and we use this here at CDI quite often as well. So the neat thing is, any question you post in Laserfiche Answers is viewed by resellers, client users, and Laserfiche internal staff. So you'll get quite a bit of help when it does occur. So really great stuff in there. Again, like I said, you can reach out to me and send me an email if you want the PowerPoint and you have any other questions, and I can get back to you offline. If you have consulting requirements, you want to have additional training with your staff, send an email to professionalservices@cdi.support. You can also send it to your sales rep. For any sales related questions and you don't know who your sales rep is, just use our generic sales@cdi.support email. And if you have technical issues that you need resolved, feel free to reach out to our support desk through support@cdi.support. And we'll look forward to helping you then. That being said, thank you so much, everyone, for your attendance and your great questions. We look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. And that's it for our webinar now. I'll stay on the line just to see if there's anything else on the questions, but that does it for our session today. Thanks so much, everyone. Please feel free to fill out the survey at the end of this webinar if you can. We do appreciate your feedback. Have a great day and see you at the next one.